Next line of discussion will be moderated by Mr. Srinivas Cherla. I'm handing over my mic to him now. So please take over. Thank you.
So as I was mentioning at the end of the panel discussion, we would move into a roundtable discussion format that's essentially to get and source problem statements out of these discussions. Today's sector being plastic sector, we would like to at least get high quality 20-25 good problem statements from the industry around how where there's a need for innovation, right? Where we could indigenize technologies for cost reduction for our national security purposes, and where we can use circular economy principles to again bring in recycling, bring in reuse of plastics. Right? As I had highlighted earlier, 80% of the carbon intensity in plastics just comes in the synthesis of plastics, not in conversion of plastic to any shape and form. Right? So the sooner we can move to 100% recycling, 100% reuse of plastics, the better off we are. Looking at alternatives like moving away from fossil fuels to bio-based plastics. I've read some articles around how they're trying to use biodiesel and bio-petroleum for synthesizing plastic at a lower, with a lower carbon intensity, and several other new options coming up. And some of our industry panel members have also mentioned new technologies like corrugated walls for plastic pipes and other things which are coming up as innovations. So if we can identify together jointly a few 20 to 30 good problem statements, we intend to take them forward to transitioning them into some kind of solutions through startup innovations. As a first panel discussion, we would move on to first roundtable discussion, and now it's an open format of discussion. Everyone can pitch in, everyone can voice their opinion and prioritize their challenges. The more priority we have on a problem, the easier it gets, or the sooner it will get picked by an innovator for developing product. Right? So the first area that we would like to focus on is reduction of resources in plastic industry. And over here, just to as an icebreaker or just to kickstart the discussion here, would want to maybe give some focus areas that we can all discuss about, and then maybe there'll be more problems that can be stated by the industries themselves. One such area that I could identify is around heating requirement for plastic industry. There is a lot of process heating is there. There will be ample scope for process heat recovery as well. Various heating options exist: electric, bio-based, or any other sources, coal-based, and any other sources that we may have for heating. Right. So in this aspect, I would like to understand from the sector MSMEs over here that what are some of the solutions that are being used. We have some industries which are into manufacture of PVC pipes, some industries which are into manufacture of packaging material for food and beverages and other things. Maybe we also have a few MSMEs in the auto component manufacturing, right? So there may be different needs from different players in the plastic segment. We would like to understand if you could shed some light into any challenges, problems that the sector players are facing, specifically focusing on heating and heat recovery in plastics industry. So it's a open session, not necessarily moderated by me, but we'll have some timelines so that we can move to the next roundtable discussion focusing on process improvements and O&M and other areas. So we'll take about half an hour, 40 minutes for identifying some of the areas around reduction in resources and efficiency. Any thoughts from any of the sector players?
Thank you, Srinath garu. Plastic industry requires power, which is more important. As any industry requires raw material, and power is also a main raw material for the plastic industry. Most of the industries, but in plastic industry, we need a continuous process power. So unless until there is no continuous process power is there, then the loss of energy, loss of heat take place, and the loss of production will take place. So all the plastic industry should have a dedicated power substations where continuous power should be given, so that at least by the end of the 24th hour, I can say that 3 to 5% of energy can be saved with continuous power, heat losses can be saved, and the production can be increased on that line. And the second thing is, whenever the breakdowns takes place, I mean, we cannot avoid certain breakdowns at the power side. I mean, the time which takes place, maybe half an hour or 1 hour for the completing the job from the DISCOM side. There should be some immediate, just 2 days back only we had a thought process started already for VIP areas. Some areas the DISCOMs have started. If the power goes, automatically the second power will be given to those areas. Presently it is working for the Chief Minister's area and some police stop people for them. Like whenever the power goes, the generator ons or UPS ons, even same power comes with the different substations. So here also, if we can think of on that line, definitely there will be a plus point for the industry point of view. Thank you.
Any other thoughts on resource reduction, heat management and heat recovery in the plastic sector? While the participants are able to analyze and come back with their response, one thing, Anil Reddy Garu, is in terms of energy, you mentioned about continuous power, dedicated power substations and other options. Right? Is electricity the single most used utility in your sector, or do you also use a lot of heat from other sources of energy?
Presently we are using UPS also.
Okay.
I mean battery backup. That is a second source, but again it's through power, so it is not a plus point for the industry, but only to safeguard our power losses we are doing that. So
okay. The other part is, do you practice anything around demand side energy management, that is changing your energy consumption or demand based on availability? So the reason I'm coming to that is many times utilities are not able to provide power. There are blackouts or power cuts because of the supply demand gap. That is, there's less power available to supply and there's more demand. One way that the utilities are currently managing it is by ramping up the production of electricity so that they can meet the demand. But utilities are also very eager to try the other approach. That is, if there is a bottleneck in terms of availability of electricity, they would send a signal to the industries and they can ramp down some of their non-essential processes so that they're still able to run the essential processes. Right? So this is called demand side energy management. Have any of the industries taken up any initiatives around actively managing their energy? Yeah.
As far as industry concern, whatever the machines to be run, that has to be run. There is no option for switching off for any other requirement. Because if I wanted to run a particular machine, to that supporting other machines also required. So definitely the total production, whenever we think of 24/7 and the total number of machines to be worked on, so it has to run, all the units has to run. So definitely that is not possible. Rightly said by the panelists that wherever the possibility of power, like solar or any other source, we need to tap it. And the restrictions what we have, rightly said by the panelists, I think this is the best forum that you have to recommend to the government to ease the technicalities and move forward for taking the advantage of the easily available solar power.
Any plastic industries are available, MSMEs? Yeah. Where is your unit located? So, as of now also you have frequent power breakdowns or you are facing any problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Earlier they used to announce at least, they used to call. Now they are not bothered about calling also.
No, still if it is persisting this problem,
Yes.
then as a common this one, why don't you plan for the solar energy to tap the solar energy have?
Sir, you know that
Have you
main problem is there in Hyderabad, it is a land. In industries, you know that all plastic industry is totally power-based industry. Even my plant, I am having a 500 HP power. So to generate 500 HP power, you need at least 1.5 acre to 3 acres land. Earlier it was, now they are telling 1.5 acre, that to rooftop. So the smaller industries providing that much land, it's quite difficult, it seems, existing industries. Whenever we are planning a new industrial parks, we can take this into consideration, and a common area is, we can provide like roads and all, center of the roads, rooftops, while making the projection of the industry itself. If you take this one into the consideration, upcoming parks, this may be a help. But during the city, now what are there in city? So there the per square feet area cost is so much, and people are putting 1 after 2 after 3 floors and giving for rents and all. They are not, literally not that much interested in generating these things. Because people can't afford for a own place, they are going for a rented these things. They can't do it here because it's a capital.
request is at least the new coming up industries, MSMEs, which are coming up now,
Yes,
which
sir.
are in
Yes,
the
sir.
initial stage, they can plan for having the rooftop solar.
Yes, sir.
energy
Definitely.
panels.
Already people are doing, because
that's
where
true.
the 1 rupee they will save,
Because
need not us to promote that thing. Industry will think in that direction. But here is the problem is that in Hyderabad, main criteria is land, sir. So land is such a costly thing. Even 20 kilometers from the outer ring road nowadays, they are telling 7,000 per square feet and all, square meter like that. So MSME purchasing a land for 3.5 crores per acre, it is coming 3.5 crores. And again putting the capital investment in this thing, it is I think for again he has to purchase a capital machinery, land and building. It is not never MSME then.
Seeing these problems only in the new MSME policy 2024, the government has planned for giving as an option for 30 years lease also.
Yeah, so, I've seen, sir. That's a
At
good
a stage
initiative.
they cannot afford to purchase at such a huge price.
Yeah, right.
The other alternative, we have studied the other state policies also.
We have seen that
So one
ready
of
to
the
occupy
recommendation
sheds,
is for giving on lease for 30 years lease, so that the new units can. So we are expecting these issues also in the policy. Let us hope for.
But sir, as you rightly said, 30 years, as on date, it has not kick-started in Telangana. And most probably for MSMEs, it will be long term for to see that light. Maybe only the large people will get immediate attention. For MSMEs, I doubt that we'll see in next 2 decades or 3 decades. That is one negative point for the small scale sector. Everybody says about MSME, but on paper, I'm blunt in saying that things are not in the direction what everybody's talk and everybody act on it. I only request the officials because this is a forum where today you had initiated something so that down the line, maybe 1-2 years, if the same requirements is taken into consideration, maybe the next 2-3 years, this small scale sector can take advantage of these activities.
If you can maybe share a little more detail on that. When you say initial load, is it the motors? Are VFDs and other solutions not the answer for that?
Solar can only generate energy, not load. So that's the main problem. And that too, solar can generate up to 25% of the requirement only. Balance 75% has to be come from grid only. So that's the point. We also cannot bear the cost of the backup.
Since it's not 100% backup, only for those processes, only let us say a 5-minute backup, right? That's what you need during the start. You don't need it for a long period.
Power generators also for uninterrupted power. But the amount of power we need, we used to use 100 liters per hour. It is not at all viable.
Okay. Now, just to continue the conversation, while you're mentioning about solar power, the cost of solar power, investments and other things, I would like to at least draw your attention to some upcoming, say, innovations in this area. One startup that we are working with, Pavaka Energy, is working on solar paints. They may not be as efficient, as 30 or 25% that the solar panels today are, dual-sided solar panels. But they have come up to the point, at least in lab level, they have come to a point of 7% efficiency in terms of conversion of solar to electricity, just through a simple paint application. Okay. It's not something that a typical painter can do, but it's more like applying 3 films, okay, not a panel. So they are trying to come up with some innovations in that area. They're based here in IIT Hyderabad, and most likely by August or so, they would like to come to a field trials, okay, in terms of applying that film on a industry wall or somewhere and trying to see if they can generate consistently that amount of electricity at a lower cost. So there are some innovations in this area that may be useful for MSMEs to keep a watch on. All these innovations will be included in the tech compendium that we are going to come out with. That way, MSMEs have more choices and more options to play with. Yet another area of innovation is using green hydrogen based gensets, fuel cells as they call it. Currently, yes, the cost of green hydrogen is slightly prohibitive, but as long as a kg of green hydrogen reaches about between 250 to 300 rupees per kg of green hydrogen, it is said or it is widely understood that it will become at par with diesel-based gensets. Okay. At that point, they are a zero carbon, zero emissions source of energy that industries could invest in. Honda, which is one of the big names in DG sets, had approached us to find some industries that are willing to test their hydrogen fuel cell based gensets, okay, which are noise free, emissions free, and can cater to the needs of industry. So there are emerging technologies to keep a watch for. That's a limited point that I wanted to make here in this forum.
In that also there are some problems are there, sir. Hydrogen is a volumetric thing. It is compared to other gases. We have to have a bigger cylinders, like 3 times and 5 times extra cylinders needed. And in India, we are not having that much capacity now to transit this thing. Recently, Mr. Anil Reddy Garu, myself, we went to the China. for China Plast. They are already putting the hydrogen lines for the industry. So just they are 20 or to 30 years ahead of us, their thinking and their policies and all. But here what I've seen that one of my friend has made this generator. He is the first time in India, but still he is struggling. Only military people he can give it because of the supply chain problems and all are there. And I think it may take 10 to 15 years more what you are now mentioning about. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So we, at which we are going to be working on setting up a green hydrogen valley in the state of Telangana. Currently, it is going to be centered around Ramagundam, where there is a huge demand for hydrogen in fertilizer and various industries. But that's an area that we are actively working on, and therefore, if there is any progress being made, we'll certainly keep the industries informed. So moving on. I think our friends from Srichakra had mentioned about water and effluent treatment, Sudhakar. Would you want to maybe provide a little more in that direction, some information in that direction as to how you can manage your resources in the water area, and what kind of innovations or problems that you're facing in there, so that we can maybe take it up?
So in fact, as I just mentioned, our activity is more water intensive because it needs washing of PET bottle for basic decontamination, and then mostly the entire process being mechanical, it needs the water recovery also becomes a critical part of it. For now, our plant that we have right now, we are tapping into the dedicated Mission Bhagirath line for our activity, as well as one or two bore lines which are available within the plant. But all the drawing of water is currently being metered and updated to the PCB on a regular basis. So when we do this post activity, there is a certain amount of the contaminated sludge as part of the bottle residues that we get would go into our ETP. We have an in-house ETP with an MERE recovery facility where our expectation is that we have a recovery of around 85% of water being used. The rest probably gets evaporated, and most critical element here is bringing back that water into our own stream is what we do right now as part of the 3-layered RO plant. So as a process, this cannot be removed or optimized. It's more about only the recovery that we should look at. If there are any technologies, however, again, we did visit China Plus last week, 2 weeks ago, on the similar industry that there were multiple washing lines that we had also visited. So there were people, in fact, especially China as an infrastructure has brought the entire an industrial park will have a composite ETP, which probably the industry would not be worried about. So today, if we need to go for a CTO for our operations, individually we have to showcase an ETP internally and then manage the entire ETP. However, there is a fully managed industrial parks common ETP where they don't even worry about the kind of production that they handle is 10 times of what we do today. With that kind of scale and with that kind of water that they use, the entire load is on the industrial parks ETP, where the actual optimization is being done by them. So technologies probably are definitely available. It's about how do we bring it at the scale that we have today. A smaller industry as compared to us might even have a bigger problem of ETP because they have to manage that water separately. Today, with the kind of scale that we are right now managing, we also have a challenge around it. So again, net, if we look at whether the technologies are available, the answer is yes. Is it viable? Can we really deploy all those technologies and then have a better recovery of water? That's a question that we all need to work on.
Just to elaborate further, what's the primary challenge? Is it high TDS, high BOD?
High TDS is definitely a challenge because of the kind of contamination that comes into the stream. Being a post-consumer plastic that we handle, there are multiple contaminations that come in. High TDS definitely is one of the challenges, which we actually tone down with our kind of alums and all the chemicals that we use. But even that sometimes becomes unmanageable, and we need to depend on the hazardous waste disposal trucks, which are again PCB certified, where we have to send them out.
Typical things like COD, BOD, they are not of much help.
Not of much concern for us. Again, every operation is different for us. That's not of much concern for now.
Okay. So in terms of, so you mentioned that you have a separate effluent treatment plant. One other thing I just wanted to maybe suggest is, we visited Jeedmetla effluent treatment plant very recently, and they do have RO treated water that they're offering to industry for their process. Right. Of course, it may be that's coming from, again, industrial effluents, but what they claim is you can pretty much drink it, it's certified, right? Similarly, even some of the water, I think in one of the sessions Madhukar Garu was saying that there's a lot of treated water available with the sewage treatment plants. Again, it may not be drinkable, but it can be industry ready if it's properly used at a very reasonable cost than maybe what you can get through other sources. So have you evaluated any such options? And
we ourselves recover the water and reuse it. Our current RO treatment, which is part of our ETP, brings back this water into our one of the processes. So the washing itself is a multiple stage washing that we do for the bottles. So there are places where the washing happens with pre-treated water, and there is also a fresh water which is drawn at the final stage of our drying. So all the water that gets recovered, the 85% that I'm talking about, is the recovered water which goes back into our process. So there is a regular drawing of 15% any which way that keeps happening. And to answer your question, maybe again, I'm trying to slightly overshoot and then think of the options there. Any RO treated water, there is a logistics cost to bring that water back to our plant. If that would have been a common industrial park which is available and then pumped to our lines, that might be a better option. But for the location that we are right now operating, we might not have that. The logistics cost itself also is a kind of cost to us.
okay, but is that, if I were to extend the same problem statements to the plastics cluster, let us say Makal cluster or anywhere else, do you as a plastics industry see the need for having a common effluent treatment plant in such a cluster, or is it only for industries like Srichakra which are into recycling of plastic? So what's the general sense from the cluster? I would like to get response from other players over here as well.
It's only for the recycling plants where washing and drying take place, where the other industries, they use water, but that will be reused, except the evaporation loss is there, but otherwise it is continuously used either the cooling towers or the machinery side. I mean, we don't want, I mean, this industry doesn't require any ETBs.
Okay. So, I mean, for the vast majority of the industry, it may not be needed, but for recyclers, that's one of the primary requirements.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Madhukar Babu. Building on what Srinivas has said about combinedly using a facility like ETP. What we have seen at Jeedmetla was not all industries were making use of that facility. That was the first part. Only a handful of them were, using them, and many of the other industries which are located at industrial estate were actually transporting their waste to that place, which was getting recycled. Now, logistics is definitely an issue. Just look at it like this. The entities which are transporting these effluents from far off location to Jeedmetla, why is that they are doing? Only because they have been mandated to do that. Else they would face closure or fines. Now, do you foresee that kind of situation for plastics? We force something upon plastics sector to move towards environment-friendly technologies or friendly processes. Do you see that kind of situation? It's enforcement that of all the things, enforcement works fantastically. That we have seen. So, is it that, or secondly, the second point which I want you to respond to is the logistics part of it. Now, can you give us a sense of cost-benefit analysis of having a common heat, I'll not say treatment, but heat usage facility? I'll give you the context. I worked in a steel plant. It was about 12 square kilometers, which is about 3,000 acres of area. It was an integrated steel plant, which facilities, in one corner spread across all these 12 square kilometers. But the point was, the heat generated in coke ovens was being used somewhere down the line 1 kilometer away, 2 kilometers away. And each system was actually integrated. The heat from one part gets used for preheating of the other part, other process and things like that. Now, if we take an industrial estate where similar industries are located, because all the industries are individual entities and they fend for themselves. That is indisputable. You just take care of yourself. Now, if we were to look at a scenario where we create this system of sharing the heat that you are exiting, your industry is exiting, that could be used for preheating of some process or other process of some other industry, and then this heat exchange is properly metered. Okay, I am pumping out some heat to you which you are using for your preheating. Depending on the heat level, there will be a charge that is fixed. Industrial estate working like a single steel plant, single entity where entire control is under one this thing. But unless it makes an economical sense, that industry would not be using it. It makes economical sense, but since there the management is single entity, people are using it. Here, different entities, their own interests and their own competitions and things like that. So you're not worried about your neighbor. Now, if we were to build that kind of a system, what will be the pros and cons of it? What will be the pros and cons of it? Since in new industrial policy, we are talking of setting up of new industrial parks, about 10 industrial parks between ORR and RRR. So how do you see this? Now, this I see as an efficient system of energy management. When it can happen in a 3,000 acre steel plant, it can definitely happen with 500, 600 or 1,000 acres industrial estates. It's only a management issue. Okay, that is the first part. Second part is, if we were to advocate that, what will be the challenges that we could likely come up with? Okay, so I'd like to hear from you on that.
The process what you have mentioned regarding the steel plant, that process may not be useful in the plastic industry. I mean, the process what we have, the melting of plastic granules requires a different way of by extruding or the blowing or injection molding. This process is totally different. Technically, I am not correct, but this is, a crude method of way I am thinking. This will not be suitable for the this sort of mechanism. But in a cluster, definitely we can try up with a different source, solar or any other means of energy that may be useful to certain extent. This is my broad thinking.
Hyderabad is having so many recycling industries in and around, which are the main cause of water pollution in our Musi and this thing, old city side. So what I feel that if you put a dedicated industrial park for recyclers and common effluent for them and imposing what you said that GD like this thing, so environment also get clean and because of the EPR now 25% of the goods other than packaging goods, other than food, because he is also doing in food also. It's a very great technology what he is having. But other these things you can differently use and energy also gets saved and pollution wise also you can have a good product. There is one idea, sir, particularly for recycling industry and effluent management. We can do a common.
So I have a complementing thought around the idea that you tried here. So what I see is we'll break the question into two parts, or the problem statement that you put in into two parts. So ETP part and the energy recovery part. On the ETP side, definitely it helps all those companies which, not just on the regulatory aspect of it, but all those companies which operate and need water recovery to be put into one particular park to do this job. So today, there is no dedicated recycling park for all the recyclers to come there and get situated. If that would have been so, most of the recyclers would have been happy to go there, because managing an ETP itself is again a new activity for us. So which, if there is a dedicated park with all those recyclers come in and stationed there, that actually ideally would be a good workable solution. Or the government might as well look at those parks, designating some parks which will help, which mandate any industry which is using water to come there. So you're actually kind of concentrating all those people who need water recovery facility at one place. That solution can work. Independently, for that matter, any kind of material movement after disposal has to be disposed to right places. And not just the regulation part of it, there are also some conscious industries who might be thinking of doing it in the right sense, not just for the fear of the regulator, it is also fear of our customer. So today the customers are also insisting on what kind of product we are making. Fear is needed, sir. You need to bring discipline in your life, so fear is needed. So that's what is any which way there. Yeah, so that's it's taken. So you don't have to again work. There's no two thoughts around it. Now coming back to the energy recovery part, there are machines that we use which do the energy recovery and then do the preheating in another portion. So which is again a very smaller component of our own recovery of our activity in the same industry or the same location. Now with that said, if there can be any energy recovery from a different industry to be given, again this might also help those places or people who, say for example, Srinath Rotopack might be using rice husk for their boiler firing. We use LDO for boiler firing. So we need all the, in fact if there is any kind of energy recovery that can help us get steam for our kind of activity, that can actually work well. So all that energy recovery again should go to those plants which have these mandates or these necessities in their process. We need to operate a boiler, we are operating a boiler with an LDO. He needs to operate a boiler, he is operating with a rice husk. If somebody is giving us energy, obviously we don't have to buy all this. We just run and continue with that machine. So both these solutions are possible, but maybe it helps if we have a concentrated park and then people being brought there. If we don't have that and then independently again with the kind of real estate cost of setting up the plant in and around Hyderabad, so I don't know how the government can really think of these kind of areas. Even if we are talking about a ORR to RRR kind of land, it should be around the same 7,000 per square meter kind of cost. So which is an initial huge capex for an industry to be set up for now.
So it makes sense for government to intervene to subsidize this activity in a manner like a common facility kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Which not just some processes but takes care of this heat requirement, exchanging heat between or energy between the industries.
Sir, heat recovery is one major challenge that can be worked upon by the government in terms of the industrial park design.
Design.
Yeah, industrial park designs. So
Right.
ETP is another group. Waste management is a third group. There is a biomedical waste. There can be pharma industry which needs certain waste to be disposed and there is nobody around. So a common waste aggregator or incinerator can be deployed in this. I think one of the plants near Vizag, managed by Ramki, is one of such models where they manage the entire waste of the industrial park and then go into the incineration. So these models are, I think, independently available. It's just that we need to work on bringing all of them together. I think it definitely supports the industry, and partly maybe that might be slightly out of the subject that we are discussing today. There are few governments, apart from Telangana and Andhra, that are looking at a 99-year lease with the value subsidized even on the infrastructure that is being set up now. So that probably helps instead of an upfront cost that somebody has to put in to start an industry for now. So there can be multiple models to look at to incentivize the industry and then bring them there, stabilize and then charge.
And finally, like Srinivas was saying, Hyderabad Metro Water Works wing is doing a lot of processing of the sewerage water, and lot of usable water is available. They're looking for customers. So at one point in time, they said it is so much of water that only 10 to 20% of water is being consumed as of now. So they're looking for clients to use that thing. Now I'm sure they must have made cost benefit analysis of laying a pipeline sort of a thing, which makes water available to the industries. Now just give us a sense of what it takes or viability of having a pipe supply of water, this used water, to industries, so that it could form a policy backbone for the next policy or addition to the existing policy. Okay, it comes with certain cost. What could be the cost when compared to this one, this vehicle transporting through vehicles, and then what is the extent to which we can ask industries to pay for? For example, if laying a pipeline costs 1,000 crores, how much will be industry happy to absorb and ask the remaining part from the government? So just give us a sense of that. Again, what is possible? Having worked with, having experienced government for so long, what is that you can ask government?
Actually, you can plan it in this way. What is the water is coming through nalas and going to the Musi? Anyhow, we are doing the Musi Sundarikaran and all. There, what the water we are recovering and doing the effluent, this thing, instead of leaving it into the Musi, that we can divert it to this recycling industries.
Musi requires water.
Okay. No, both we can club it. That effluent, what you used it, from there, what the recovery you get it, that you can use it as an industrial this thing. Again, it will come back.
About 32 sewerage plants operating in and around Hyderabad. It was in that context I was talking of. So, talking is very easy. You can say government can lay pipeline and make supply to this. But let us look at it from the point of view having industry experience. The cost benefit analysis is ultimately what everybody looks at. So please give us a sense of that.
Okay, sir.
So what we right now do is this dedicated Mission Bageda line is considered a fresh water for us. So this is what we draw any which way for our activity. There is an activity that we do internally of doing the RO process and then taking this water back. So there is I can come back to you with the numbers in some time, not right now, but then we can definitely come back. However, the material that comes back to us should ideally be at least at RO capable or RO level so that it goes back into our process. Can the stream that we are talking right now of laying the pipeline and then sending it back, would that also be a kind of RO purified level? That's something maybe we need to look at. Then there is a cost advantage because anyway today we are doing something internally. We can bring that as a freshwater line coming in parallel to the Mission Bageda line that we have. So with that said, with the kind of scattered locations that we right now have, this definitely becomes a challenge for now, sir. If we are talking about a dedicated industrial park, the answer is yes, you can do this. If we don't do that, a recycling plant of Srichakra stationed in Indrakaran and Arbindo plant stationed in Pashamailaram and somebody is stationed at some other location in Mankal, and then all of these need water, but then you can't give water to so many plants, and you don't have so many treatment plants to be supplying this. So ideal scenario should be that all these people should be brought to one location, and you have that as an integrated system to get the better recovery. The numbers definitely I can come back through Srinivas Garu. I'll get the data for you.
See, I think almost 5 to 7 years back, government has issued some GOs for relocation of industries. Government has identified 3 industrial estates. One is, as just now you were telling, Indrakaran for textile industries, and steel industries at Vikarabad. I am not able to recollect that name. And one more is for edible oils at Buchinelli, about 100 acres. And TGIAC has identified all the steel industries for relocating to Vikarabad industrial estate. So many industries are working in Medak district, after steel and polluting and highly. They have purchased the lands at Vikarabad industrial estate, which is identified, but they are not shifting. They have been given at very subsidized rate to this, all the steel industry. And they have planned for common effluent treatment plants with Government of India funding and all that. But this is going on for the past 5 years, and these people have purchased the lands there, all these 3 industrialists, but they are not shifting. See, the government is also planning to have some common facilities. All the industries should relocate to one segment so that we can have common effort. But the mindset is in our Hyderabad, because of particularly the logistics and high cost of operations, these people are not taking that step, and still that is going on. Pharma also, they are supposed to relocate as per the GO, but somehow they are telling that the infrastructure is not placed by the TGIAC, so they are not able to relocate. So this is going on for the past 5 years. Anyway, government is keen to have exclusive industrial estates for whatever categories we have exclusive in future point of view.
So one last aspect of resource reduction that I would like to touch upon is actual material reduction, recycling, and or improving the processes so that there's lower consumption of material, higher strength materials and other things. So just want to understand from the industry perspective on how this area of resource reduction is what the industry has been up to over the past few years, and any thoughts in that direction from any of the industry members here?
Definitely it is not possible immediately because the new rule which has come into the 1st of April 2025 for adding 30% and 10% in some categories. So down the line it will take some more time, year by year, the increase of adding percentage of recycled plastics into the virgin. So the mindset of certain category of people says that if 100% of recycle is used, so 100% of production will not take place. But it is not like that. 100% of virgin material is required, not only to the regular requirement like flexible packaging or any other blow molding or engaged molding. But now the plastic industry had gone to a different level where different area of workings like health side or defense side, there are a lot of other areas which is taking place. So that area we cannot use recycled plastics. So definitely the reduction of plastics, virgin plastics will not be reduced. Maybe it may be staying at whatever the rate today. It must stand still on that level. Maybe not be more production will take place or the less. So this is my point of view.
So, Anil Reddy garu, so to understand, you're saying though there is a mandate to reduce, have 30% recycled plastic and continue increasing, this is not possible owing to limitations in what all areas in your industry? Is it because of availability, technology, is it cost? Can you probably
No,
give
it is not related to the rate or anything else. It is related to the requirement of the defense industry or health industry. So there are certain components which is, a continuously innovation taking place. Like I think in the down the line, you may not be surprised to see a plastic kidney or plastic heart. So there are a lot of innovation taking place. So at that particular products, that particular area, you cannot add recycle. So whenever you are adding recycle to the components, so this level is totally different. Like flexible packaging or English molding, this area is totally different. Then compared to the other areas in the defense area, what today we have seen missiles wherever we had used, more than 40% of the plastic components are used. There we cannot use recycled products. That is my understanding as on date.
Initially, they have taken initiation of industrial packaging where the food is not directly in contact and where they cannot sacrifice the mechanical or chemical properties. There, the government of India has now taken the decision of through EPR, who are all extended producer responsibility. They are now having the data, and 10% now they made it compulsory. And going down, it may go to up to 30%. That also makes a huge difference. 30% of plastics reusing in Hyderabad itself will save so much of energy, which can light 2 or 3 mandals directly of electricity needs. Thank you.
I'm trying to clarify a bit on the usage of recycled content. Maybe again, this is limited to my understanding. However, I'm trying to put some clarity around the usage of material, the regulation that is talked about. The regulation is concentrated only on the packaging applications and not any other applications. Packaging only. It does not talk about any other, especially defense or health or even automobile segment. We can't say that bumper में 30% होना चाहिए. वो rule इस regulation में कहीं बात नहीं हो रहा है. The regulation is only talking about packaging and the brand owners who are packaging that, preparing. Somebody is using this bottle for their packing of water. They have this regulation. Somebody is using a single-use plastic for their usage to sell some product outside the market. They have this regulation. So which technically would mean that the availability of that kind of plastic, if it is suitable to that application, can be used. So is there a question? The answer is yes. Because is there a problem? The answer is yes, there is a problem. Because there are some brand owners who are yet to identify that quality of material to be used in their packaging, especially the flexible group. The rigid plastics, as we see, have the capability, the technology to make some resin which will be used for rigid packaging. For flexible packaging, there is a problem. Even today, the brand owners are representing the same thing with the Ministry of Environment and Forests to look at slightly reducing the target of 10% which is being implemented now, making sure that they have the right quality or the right polymer coming in. So just a clarification on this, but this should not, obviously there is definitely a known zero tolerance on the kind of product that we'll be making with a recycled product on a very critical application. We cannot do that. The regulation also is not that.
I think what you said is absolutely correct. The focus is that whatever these big industries are manufacturing under circular economy, 30 to 35% of the material they have to take it back and reuse it, so that this littering of all this material and all that under single-use plastic should be curbed. And there are going to be very stringent rules in future to curb this single-use plastic. And lot number of guidelines are also being issued from time to time.
Oh, I'm Gulshan. I work as an assistant director at MSME. So my background is not plastic, but recently I visited one of the unit in Sultanpur for a Telangana government subsidy application. Medical devices park, yeah. So there is a Flexit Technopack Private Limited. So they have an in-house innovation. What they are doing is primarily they are manufacturing plastic packaging materials for tablets and other pharmaceutical companies. Plastic packaging. So they have an innovation which they have done, and they have filed a patent also, and they have, I think, more than 3 innovations at least. Because they have submitted the reimbursement application, patent. So they reduced the plastic in the packaging, I think, more than 30%, which brings down the final cost of their produced goods. So a lot of innovations are happening around, and which you can also, there was earlier I was discussing with you about water treatment plants. So everybody, mostly around the world, they are using RO process, but there has been a principle called as gas hydrate decontamination or desalination of water. So there is also a patent, a guy from IIT Delhi, he how to do that, put that concept in a practical way, economically viable way, because gas hydrate principle reduces the energy required to recycle that water. So that is also available. So, and this guy at Flexit, that is a product available. The technology has been converted into a market viable technology. So, and he is willing to license it to others. So, like that, innovations are existing around us. We just have to find it and map it.
So, I mean, in medical devices part, some units are manufactured in stents also with foreign collaborations. So, they require all the virgin plastic material.
Sure. Recently, again, just some information sharing. We were approached by an Israeli company called UBQ. They recycle plastic as well, but the innovation they have is they can have a lot of they can recycle plastic from municipal solid waste. Okay. And some of their consumers happen to be the big automotive companies like Mercedes-Benz and us, which we associate with a lot of value that, okay, their quality and their products are going to be top-notch. And what they said is that not just plastic, in the pellets and material that they make, they also have natural fiber, which is organic material. So what they said is that now their plastic is a hybrid plastic of organic fiber and regular polymer. And that's what is being used by the BMWs and Mercedes. They are some of the companies which are using it, and they have now set up a plant in Europe for these clients. So far they are just operating in Israel. Now they have set up a plant in Europe. So some of these innovations are there, and the reason they approached us was they were looking for, is there someone who can co-invest for setting up a plant here in India? They don't want to license their technology, they want to be the technology owner, but they can work with someone who can provide a little bit sorted municipal solid waste. They cannot take everything, but clean it up a little bit and then they can take it. So Some innovations around this area are also available just for information. Yeah, I think that was a really long but very insightful discussion on, say, resource reduction around energy, water, and we briefly also touched upon on material reduction. Going forward, we already completed on the resource reduction, but we would like to just also get some responses from the participants here on any process optimization. For instance, what are some of the biggest operational challenges that are being faced in your sector, whether it is in plastics for pipes or plastics for packaging or any other areas. What are some of the biggest operational challenges? Again, it may be a repeat of what we already talked about in terms of resource reduction and resource, but then if there are any other thoughts, certainly we could.
In our plastic, this thing, apart from the energy and capital investments, one more this thing is that particularly we are facing is that mold making. Even though Hyderabad is very known for this defense organizations, precision molding and mold making technologies from last 50 years, since 50 years. And the global leaders like Vasanta Tools and all located here. But they are confined to the some pockets, like Vasanta Tools do only caps and closures for throughout the world. But whereas we are one more capital investment, that is molds, which is an actual technology thing in plastic. So there we are still having a lot of gap, and monthly I think from Hyderabad, I have done some study, around 500 crores is going to China, only for mold making. So this I have discussed with the earlier government, and we have submitted so many.
100 crores annually or monthly?
Monthly, only from Hyderabad. So even though today, up to today, we are not having a particular mold steel which they are using, it is not there in existing in our place. Even though we are having Lithuania and
Because steel they are importing from other countries or
no, China they are having their own manufacturing. We are importing from other places, and even we are importing the molds from other places. At the same time, this skill.
My question is why we are not able to manufacture that steel here?
That is what I am telling you, that some little bit of R&D, some hand holding, and that some precision or concentrated effort from the industry as well as the government in this sector. And already I have done 10 years back some study, and I submitted to the government of Telangana and even Commerce Ministry of India. They are very much encouraged from central government, and they have given some this thing also, land allocated and all this thing, because of some other reasons we couldn't able to proceed. But this is one area particularly for plastic industry. It will create a more skillful jobs also, because we are having a CITD, we are having a CPET, we are having some lots of engineering colleges, but output is again big zero. I cannot tell zero. If it is a 10 is a demand, we are at 1. So there we can make create a lot of jobs, and as well we can create a lot of money also. So there we need like this session once again for particularly mechanical mold making or designing or capital mission making sectors. There we can have a lot of scope and generate a lot of jobs, and we can connect industry with the institutions. There we need one more.
I think it's absolutely well taken point. There is a Moltec company, they are the pioneers. 30 years back they have started, but as I understand, they are manufacturing the molds for themselves and not able to supply to
Last week I went to the China. I went to some company, all modes of Mouldtech is getting done there, but here these people are showing because of the technical these things, they are the limited company. I did not comment like that, but I've seen there, 100 modes I've seen.
They are getting it from China
Yeah.
only. Okay. Yeah.
Because the quality and the quantity what they are giving, it's really good.
Yeah, see, the thing is, under this RAM program, one of the component is import substitution. So whatever this kind of specialized raw material or whatever material is required, we are importing from other countries. We want to do some R&D and ensure that it is manufactured in India and it is supplied so that we can curb the imports from other countries. So we are focusing on that under import substitution also. So this kind of raw material which we require, whatever you are importing, if you can send those raw material details and all that, we'll definitely work on that and try to take it further to ensure that we have a MSME CDP clusters from Government of India, some funding. See, as you understand from that scheme, 10% should be contributed by the SPV formed by the committee members, whatever industries are there. 80% will be given by the central government and 10% is to be contributed by the state government. So, a lot of funds are there, other states are taking away all this scheme. So we would like to focus on this also. And apart from this, you said raw material in plastic parks, this raw material cost will also keep fluctuating from time to time. That will be huge. So if quite number of plastic industries are there, they can form a common facility centers and store their, when the raw material cost is less, they can store it and all these SPVs can be formed and they should be made it available throughout the half yearly or 1 yearly or something like that they can work. And we can also at the same time tap the central government funds. So this kind of issues, if it comes from the associations, we are ready to take forward with government interventions.
We appreciate your concern, sir, but this can be happen only when the special parks or clusters are given. At that point only these funds can be tapped. Individually it cannot be happen. And
Mankal Plastic Park is exclusively marked for plastic industries. So it can be taken up. Chellapalli, there are what do you call this drill bits are quite number of units are there. It is a cluster and they are exporting to African countries and other underdeveloped countries. So this can be found as a CDP clusters and we can form. But the import should come from the industry association. See, at the end of the day, all industry associations have got their members. So they understand their problems and if you can get it to us, then we can work out on that.
Just to build on what Additional Director Sir has said. Last December we went to Tamil Nadu. We covered about 40 clusters. And year before that we went to Maharashtra. We covered about 14-15 clusters. What we had seen there was their industry associations were more or less like you. Industries were just like us and clusters were just like our clusters. Industrial estates were more or less like our industrial estates. But what we had seen there was, it was not the entire, the community coming together for a common facility center. The lead was taken by a individual entrepreneur along with his core group of people. And then as they went along, they added few more members which were required to be mandated. Now this I should not be saying it openly, but this is the fact of life. This is absolute reality. So it was the initiative of few entrepreneurs in these clusters that has made the whole difference. Now everywhere we have seen Tamil Nadu, more and more clusters are coming up. They already have lots of clusters and almost 3 times that number is what they say is the demand. This in spite the fact that the state government has introduced a similar program called mini industrial clusters. In addition to Government of India clusters, they have their own clusters, and now the situation is 3 times that demand has come up. So when we look closely at those things, what we had seen is it is the leadership given by few people around which that entire thing is built. So that kind of thing can also happen with us. Probably Rashmi and then Srinivas can figure out a exposure visit to some of these clusters where common facility centers and other good initiatives have been taken in other states as a part of RAMP, capacity building of MSMEs and these industry associations. Probably, I'm sure many of you might be knowing it, but having a brush up of interaction with those entrepreneurs could help us.
I think all the MSMEs, they have done Udyam registration, they are aware about Udyam registration. That gives you benefit from state government as well as government of India. And there is also something called as Z scheme. Have you heard about it? So how many of you have got Z certification you have done? So have you availed any benefits under Z scheme?
Yeah, we have availed that testing.
Testing 50,000 rupees upfront. Yes, you get reimbursement, not upfront, a benefit. So
it is continuous this thing or only one time?
One time in one level. Suppose you are at bronze level, you can take it one time. And once you upgrade to silver level, you can again take it. Then to gold level, you can again take it.
Recently, I paid for the CPET testing.
Okay.
Approximately each product 5 lakhs rupees.
Oh.
Around 1 crore rupees, I got 50,000 rupees.
Yeah. So this is yes. For a big enterprise, it is paltry sum. But for micro enterprise, 50,000 is good. So even for ISO certification, you can get that reimbursement. And there is another reimbursement. Again, not much, small amount, but very useful for small industries. You get 2 lakh for hand-holding support. So consultant will be coming to you and recommending you green technology, which can make your process efficient out of the 828 listed technologies by QCI. And once it is recommended, one of the Z assessor will come and assess it. You purchase the technology and he will assess it. And upon assessment, you get reimbursement of 3 lakh. 100% reimbursement up to 3 lakh. So that is free 3 lakh technology or equipment, green equipment you can buy. You just need to be a Z certified. You can start with bronze, then going to the silver level, you can take the hand holding, get the 3 lakh equipment, and then again from silver to gold, you can again take that benefit.
Now, apart from that, whatever term loan is taken under that also some...
Yes. Definitely. That is other benefit of Z certification. When you talk about, when you take loan, so if you have a Z certification along with your loan application, obviously if you have Udyam registration, you get special interest, you get a reduction in interest, and then with Z certification, you get additional benefit in interest. So, and there are other things also, even state government.
How much percentage?
So that depends upon bank to bank. But if you go to the Z portal for each bank, they will tell you how much minimum they have promised for Z certified unit. No. So what we have done is we have tried to bring in all stakeholders, to give some incentive so that all MSMEs are pushed forward, to take the Z certification. Z certification, energy efficiency is one of the parameter in that. Environment is another parameter. So these are all important parameters. So if all the MSMEs get Z certified, so then it will. And the bronze assessment is nobody will come and assess. You have to do at your own place, downloading the mobile app, and just have to give the geo permission, and you can do it yourself. Free of cost.
If your unit is located in industrial estate, the farm agents you are sending the authentic agencies for getting it done. They can approach our office also if any unit wants to get it done. Okay, Srinath, next.
So The last section of the roundtable focuses on supply chain decarbonization. We've talked, and over here, certainly with the globalization of supply chains, there's certainly going to be a need to reduce the embodied carbon in our products, since the products that we manufacture eventually have to be sold somewhere outside India. Then all this come into the picture. As an industry in the plastic sector, is this an area of concern? Certainly, when it comes to sectors like steel or other areas, there's a lot of emphasis on these cement, steel, and other things. So, just trying to understand if this is an area of concern for the industry here in terms of imports, exports, embodied carbon. Any response from the participants here? Okay. I think we are hitting the stage of brain strain at this point. Too many questions, right? The other area is any macro trends in the industry that the players are seeing. Earlier we have heard from the panelists a few of them, but I wanted to open the floor to any other participants as well to come in and say if they have been seeing some macro trends which are hurting them, where they need solutions, they're not able to find adequate innovations in the market. Okay. I think unless there are any other questions at this point, I have exhausted my laundry list of questions. So the floor is open. Any general comments, questions, suggestions from any of the participants are welcome at this point.
Okay, Srinath. There are two things I want to put it across to all of you, and then I'd be happy listening to your responses. One is you have a plastic park at Makal. A lot of units are there. Now, how many of them have undergone that certification? So, hardly a few of them. Our effort has been to saturate each industrial estate in a fashion that we can declare industrial estate as a Z certified industrial estate, or industrial estate which is fully quality conscious. Some or other kind of certification that industrial estate has, so that we can talk to the external world as a quality conscious industrial estate. That was the whole idea. But we have seen, not a very good response for various reasons. Now, since parks like exclusive parks like Plastic Park or what do you call that, medical devices park, and which are exclusive in nature, can they not have their certification done in a fashion that we can say that this particular industrial estate, this particular park is 100% quality certified? Now, what is that is stopping you from moving towards that direction? At least that bronze certification comes free of cost. Still, people are, averse to taking that certification. So, I want you to please respond on that. Second is about innovation. Innovation, for some reasons, people would have to excuse me for making this statement, but it's become more like a copying thing. Okay, I get into a cut-paste mode, make a small change, and then say it is innovation. Nobody, for some reasons, has been going into the basics of it. Why we need this innovation? Or what is that these people require? Now, this has to come from grassroots or at the shop floor level. That is something which not many people I have come across, I was able to see in them. Now I'll give you an example of what could be an innovation. On the face of it, it doesn't look like an innovation, but this definitely is a innovation. Innovation, solution is equal to innovation. Once we had organized a very big program on a beach. In a beach, about 1800 people have participated, most of them were women. So we had organized a program and then we had served lunch to them. And all disposable plastic plates, like foam plates. About 1800 people participated and then plates and all those put together, about 2000 plates, glasses and other things were spread across the beach, and then it was about half kilometer stretch. After the program was completed, we could have gone back and then asked the local Gram Panchayat authorities to clean it. I'm sure it would have been half cleaned and half left out like that and things like that. And then we would also have to pay those Gram Panchayat people. So we said, we organize a competition. Maximum number of plates collected would get 3,000 rupees. Second will be 2,000 rupees and the third will be 1,000 rupees and next 100 rupees consolation. Entire beach was cleaned in, let's say, 6-7 minutes. Now this is what I call innovation. I have made my cost benefit analysis, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 6,000 and another 1,000 rupees. The Gram Panchayat would engage a lot of people and they would all at least charge us 10,000 rupees with not much of outcome. Now it is, you can call it street smartness or whatever it is. But that has provided a beautiful solution for people to own that. Now, these kind of innovations are very difficult to come by, or at least I have not come across these kind of solutions. The innovators I have been interacting with, or people with new innovative ideas coming, are carrying somebody else's luggage with a sticker on their name to the extent. Now, how do we get people to think original? One of that could be, we make them see the reality. That was the reason why I asked Srinivas to have this interaction along with the innovators present in T-Hub in your industrial estate. So that they see what an industry is, how an industry works, what are the real life challenges which people are facing. So, again, I would be expecting answers to these two questions. One is, how do we make the innovators realize the potential of their innovation or the so-called innovation? And the other one is, what is the question? What is the first one I said?
First one is, how do you make the innovators aware of what is required?
No, that is the second one. First part. Z industrial estate. Z certificate industrial estates. Now, since we are talking of plastics, can we not think of it? And if you think that is possible, please tell us what we need to do.
So, in the morning, when the program was started, some opening remarks, and Srinivas had given some thoughts how the things are working. Since Rajkumar Garu and Madhukar Babu are here, I would like to bring to your notice certain things which will help the industry which has been little bit shaky. For them it will be a plus point. So, sir, we are all well aware about a health clinic. So in health clinic, two observations from my side. One, people, those who are not getting the incentives, are going to health clinic and taking the certificate and going for the early getting of money. That is one point. And the second point is, we as an industry are facing problem, and we are going to health clinic. I mean, we are going to a doctor to get result, but unfortunately the health clinic are charging 10% of the value. That is very burdening to the industry. So I think I wanted to request the officials or the government to think of it before imposing. I know that there will be some charges, normal charges should be taken, but not the level of 10%, because any industry have a different level of claim. To run the health clinic, they require some money, but the government had to support that. The purpose of the health clinic is to support the industry. So this is one point I would like to take. And regarding the innovation in general, the subject was taken, and you have made a correct point, sir. I think this innovation point of view, there are a lot of people who have done a lot of innovation, but they never think of it as innovation. And this subject has to be, I mean, the grassroots level. I mean, industry to industry, we need to go and move around with a team of certain people, like-minded people, and see what they are doing. And we have to encourage them, whatever they do, like what you said at the beach, you had done sort of program. So that sort of initiatives we have to take that will also give results for more encouragement for innovations. This is my point. Thank you.
No, you're not talking about that certification. How many units do you have, sir?
Z certification, yes, sir. We can have it in Mankal right away. Mankal, as per the
On ground, how many units are there?
in Mankal, Mankal is more than 150 units are there. There is no doubt. But everybody, I mean, they have to come onto the board.
What is stopping them from coming on board?
See, to have more clarity and more awareness, the subject matter has to go to that particular place and we have to explain them. That is what we require. So today we are sitting here, maybe we are all scattered in different areas. So one person cannot go and explain in one place. People, officials like from your side and in Mankal Estate, I think we can have a small evening 4 to 5 program, and we can highlight that sort of programs, and we can start encouraging them to take that initiative. And definitely, I think we can claim by next 3 to 6 months that Mankal Estate will be a that sort of total industry studies on that category. I think that we can move forward on that line.
So there is one small this thing about jet certification. I am working in 4 verticals, 2 out of which 2 I am having the jet certification. Recently, my friend, I don't want to name him because with the government official, he is having the unit in Sultanpur, one of the best unit. He makes the medical disposables, medical components. He is having the jet certification, initial certification, branch is there. We want to make it a silver. Somebody has approached. He has taken 5 days of his time totally. He has done all these things. Then nobody has come. And he has got transferred or something, I don't know. Some other guy has come. He came and he said, you have taken a false this thing for the jet certificate. You are not having, after coming his company, it's a 20 crores rupees company and doing the 30-40 crores turnover and doing a lot of innovation. He's from last 40 years he is in industry. He is telling him that you are not having industry, you have done a false this thing. Then he called me because I am a vice chairman for the Indian Plastic Institute and Tapma and all. I am having some this thing for this thing. Then he is telling that no, I don't have any this thing with me. I have to do for. He just usko ye de raha.
You can directly MSME offices there.
Because the small MSMEs, sir, we are the people run by everything we run, not only production, everything. But instead of helping, if they came and put the stick and in their different these things, it is fearing the people to apply. What you ask me, I am openly telling. Personally, I tell you what has happened. So I cannot, I am not giving a complaint or any of this thing, but little bit of, don't take it the other way.
To be frank,
Yes, sir.
all these industrial estates, these agencies have approached our office, so we have selected them. And we have demarcated few agencies to one particular industrial estate. And we are reviewing them every month, what is the progress, how many they are doing. If their performance is bad, we are removing them and assigning to other agencies. But if this sort of thing has happened, you should have brought it to us.
I said that directly we both should go to the industrial commission. And we will definitely.
We will remove that agency.
Yes, sir. Please see that people should not afraid to
assigning
do the
them.
things. Okay.
What is the name of the agency?
I'll tell you, sir. Personally, I'll tell you.
I'll just take 1 minute of your time. Now, consciously, we are aware of this fact that the agencies which are empaneled with QCI, which are empowered to do this certification, are not the regular industries or regular companies who have the regular manpower. They outsource it to somebody who in turn does to outsource into somebody else. That kind of thing is leading to this kind of approach. What we have made as a policy is any certifying agency will approach us. We will assign them an industrial estate, giving them a letter from Director of Industry saying that this is the agency which will be doing in your industrial estate, and a copy to the GMDIC and IIC and your ILA commissioner, so that everybody is there on the loop. First part. Second part is, when they come to your industrial estate, they will meet the industrial association, organize a meeting there and tell them that this is the exercise that is going on, so that you people know what is happening there. Otherwise, the QCI system of empaneling people and sending them to states is leading to that kind of a situation. So, having that knowledge, we said we have this kind of a.
We recommend to Government of India to blacklist that area because Government of India is empaneled.
See, this is a scheme run jointly. It is a Ministry of MSME scheme, and it is implemented by QCI. So QCI has empaneled, Z consultants, given them training. Now, this particular unit had it applied for upgradation or certification?
Yeah, already certification is there.
Upgradation. Upgradation. So for this is hand holding, gap analysis and hand holding. So is that
actually that unit is one of the best unit and do the exports and all. He is having a patents also.
Okay.
By going him and after spoiling his time, he just usko dhamki there.
Now
that is what I
no, that person who had come.
Your industry is not there. I will write it like that.
Person who had come, he has come with.
I'll give you person.
Which
I don't want to further.
you can directly email to us, contact us. Such incident happened. So we will directly notify it to QCI.
Okay, so plastics is one area. Mankal Park is something we can look forward to having that certification in coming 3 to 6 months. Now, what about your things, sir? Where are you located?
We are located in Indra.
Indra. How many industries are there?
I think we are the active ones now in that zone.
Achha.
It's a very small park, textile park, very close to the Yadumailaram factory. That's not this one.
We are ordinance factory.
Ordnance factory. Closer to that.
And where are you located, sir?
I am in Challapalli, sir.
Challapalli. So, Challapalli, okay. Okay.
This thing has happened in Sultanpur. Sultanpur Medical Park.
Okay. Now, what is your assessment that how far we'll be able to do this that certification in Challapalli?
Challapalli they are doing very good, sir, because
No,
association is there.
still now we are out of 50, sir.
Okay.
There are about 7,000-8,000
And
industries.
that association, definitely I will inform to conduct call your people.
That nodal officer is there, Ms. Sumati. She is the nodal officer. We can conduct a program if you want. We can put up a desk to help people understand.
Yeah, definitely. That is a good industrial association existing as well. We can do it. Actually, very.
So we will take you as a lead speaker for next awareness program. Huh? Brand ambassador. Huh? No, like, see, there are issues. Since this is coming free of cost, this is one way of building brand. Brand Telangana, brand, whatever brand. It is your industry listed brand. To my knowledge, there is no 100% quality certified industrial park anywhere in India. Correct me if I'm wrong. So our idea was to do something like that so that we get focus.
నెక్స్ట్ ఇండస్ట్రీ వచ్చేసి ఇబ్రాహీంపట్నం కంపోజిట్ క్లస్టర్లో పెడుతున్నాము. అయితే ఈ జెడ్ సర్టిఫికేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఎర్లియర్ నాకు తెలుసు 1 year బ్యాక్ ఆర్ 8 months బ్యాక్ అనుకుంటా ఎవరో ఏజెన్సీ పర్సన్ వచ్చాడు, అడిగాడు జీరో వేస్టేజ్ స్కీమ్ కింద అని చెప్పి చెప్పాడు. బట్ ఈ వుడెంట్ ఏబుల్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ఆల్ ద బెనిఫిట్స్, దాని గురించి బెనిఫిట్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయలేకపోయాడు అనమాట. ఆయన సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇచ్చాడు, పోయాడు, అంతవరకే. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ దాని గురించి నాకైతే నాలెడ్జ్ లేదు. మేబీ అంటే అసోసియేషన్ తరఫున ఏమన్నా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్, అవేర్నెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఏమైనా చేశారో లేదా అయితే నాకు తెలియదు. యాజ్ ఎ టెనెంట్ ఇన్ చల్లపల్లి, ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ నాలెడ్జ్ అబౌట్ జెడ్ సర్టిఫికేషన్ సార్. ప్యూర్లీ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ దట్. అండ్ ఏంటంటే అంటే నేను రీసెర్చ్ చేయలేదు దాని గురించి. జెడ్ సర్టిఫికేట్ అయితే తీసుకున్నాను, నా యూనిట్కి ఉంది, వర్చువల్ నా యూనిట్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉంది. బట్ దాని బెనిఫిట్స్ అన్నది ఏంటంటే నేను అంటే ఎక్కడైతే వినలేదు. ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇన్ ఆన్లైన్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ వీ కెన్ గెట్ ఇట్ అన్లెస్ అంటే మీ నుంచి ఏంటంటే అవేర్నెస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ కొంచెం బెటర్గా పెంచితే బెటర్ ఏమో అని.
Whatever the policies which has been set by the government of India or state government, we are circulating to members, but members are not taking it seriously about in depth. So definitely we need to have some awareness program that will help. At least if the 10 people are attending, at least 5 to 7 people will take interest. Once those people are taking that interest, other people will also know the advantages and they will also participate in 100%. I think that sort of awareness we require in particular locations. That is what I personally feel.
Your second question about the innovation, how to get innovators, working for MSMEs, to solve their problems. So innovators' way of thinking is different, and it becomes very difficult. All these innovations, stays on the patent document. It doesn't go, create an impact in the market. I have seen so many innovations. Hyderabad is a center of innovation. We have seen, when I joined this department, I have seen we used to have CFLs. So there's a guy who was working in Siemens, and he came up with this, how you re-glow a failed CFL. So he puts a simple external passive electrical device through which, a failed CFL will re-glow. And the mercury inside will be completely used up before it fails again. So another 2-3 years. You have edible cutlery started over here. And there is also some guy who is converting PET bottles, waste PET bottles into fuel. So that also, so a lot of innovation is happening. But it becomes a challenge, to convert it into a product. However, if the innovation comes from the shop floor, and definitely innovation can come through shop floor. Big companies do this activity, where if they have some problem and they want to optimize it, they put a competition in the shop floor. So and then people, the workers in the shop floor they come up with innovative solution, because it need not be very inventive. It can be a simple jugaad. Another thing, like sir mentioned over here, a lot of MSMEs are doing innovation, but they don't know whether it is an innovation or not. So regarding that, we are planning to have workshops on design and patents, so that MSME understand, what are the innovation which can be protected under patent or design registration. So workshops specific to sectors, so that we can address innovations happening, and they can get the concept. Okay, this can be protected. This can be protected and licensed. I was talking about Flexit Technopack. When I approached over there, fantastic innovation they have done, but they have limited it to themselves. It is an additional revenue. It could be they'll license it to other companies. They can get revenue, licensing fee, royalty that they'll get, and other companies would be interested in that, but they are not aware of this, how they can use their IP.
Actually, this MSMEs, 80% MSMEs run by technocrats who does the production, marketing, financing, everything. Mostly they are sometimes, I also feel pity because I came from that area. So they're 24 hours काम पड़ता है लोगों को. तो उसमें थोड़ा सा compliances thing में we have to help them handhold really. And since our Papa, Telangana and Andhra Plastic Association president is here, Mr. Bhagasa, and central government से हमारा Anil Reddy साहब is here. Okay, Central Plastic Association, whatever it may be. And I am there from IPI, Indian Plastic Institutes. We are going to conduct one these things are definitely on conclave like thing. We call you, your people. We definitely will have one big this thing next time. With along with the PCB people also, EPR also, we can conduct one seminar like thing all together. So we will give the awareness. Thank you.
Sir, good evening. Sir, frankly speaking, industries are hardly running under very severe. I am Narendra Bhadwa, President TAPMA. I have got industry also.
From starting.
The main problem is that the industries are very much competitive and running under. I think they are getting out of their interest rate 9% interest only. There are competition among all them. Raw material, they are doing their own style of selling business. So it's very hardship. You are all telling innovation, you are all telling MSME benefit, but it's all. When the industry will learn, they will earn, then only they can have. And regarding the plastic park, you want to vacate Kadedan on that occasion when you have got the conference, Mr. Vishnumoorthy Reddy, they have come, they have declared. You want to vacate any of Kadedan. But before vacating, you have to do some substitute from them. We advise them, they have agreed also, they have declared also. But the industry is there. Particularly, I don't know.
Parks have been formed. No industrial park has been formed here. So you can always relocate it.
What the?
New industrial park.
Yes, yes, for that only now.
Now also 10 to 15 new industrial parks are coming.
Now you have brought this Mahakal plastic park.
Mahakal is there.
Correct. It was actually for the garden people, we think so. But what you have done, sir, you have sold all the park major to the major big industries. From Bombay, from there.
Shripal, Srinath Rotopack, Hyderabad say all this have as ancillaries they have developed. See, when the major industries come, then only the ancillaries will develop. So you cannot blame them. See, Shripal industry, दूसरे state में लगा रहा था, but still we have invited them. He has started there with 2,000 crores investment and employed about 1,000 workers.
Yeah, but that is not the investment point of view.
So why we are giving them customized benefits? Because it is a prestigious
You
thing.
are thinking of investment point of view for the government. But you must think about the existing industries that Telangana.
When the large industries come, then only the ancillaries will develop. See, we have to see both ways.
One more thing, sir. Can you introduce about your industry? What your industry is doing? What are the products it is manufacturing?
We are in rotochrome printing They are in master batch fillers, manufacturing fillers in master batch. They are in lamination also.
Okay, so it's a B2B business.
Sir, when I was last meeting also, I made you, I asked your card, I want to have a meeting.
Yes,
But
yes.
Amma, you don't have the card, you don't.
I still don't have the card, because we have
Actually, we want to
credit,
have
but I have my number.
Yes, number is different thing. We want to have a meeting with our members. So what are the benefit they can get?
Definitely, sir.
There you will get good mileage also.
Yes.
So last time I told you, remember I think I told you.
Yes. So,
Okay, so I guess the day is coming to a close at this point. Yeah, and we have had a lot of discussion as a part of the roundtable on various aspects. Our team has been noting down some of the problem statements, and we, as I had earlier indicated, the next phase would be to get into prioritizing some of these problem statements and then seeing where there's a need for innovation, organizing hackathons and other forms of innovation challenges to develop solutions. Right. So in the end, I think one of my team members is going to summarize the discussions throughout the day, maybe take a couple of minutes. If there's anything we have missed, request the audience to add on top of it. Right.
Okay. So thank you everyone for that insightful discussion. But before moving forward to the closing remarks of today's event, we would like to felicitate Mr. Narendra Baldwa sir. So he is the president of TAPMA, Telangana Andhra Pradesh Plastic Manufacturing Association. I invite Ms. Rashmi Pimbre for the felicitation, and I also request Shri Narendra Baldwa sir to please join us on the stage. I also invite Srinivas sir to felicitate.
Yes.
I request Naga Babu from our team to give the closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Nagadurga Babu Nainala. So, as we come to the close of today's roundtable session on greening and decarbonization of MSMEs with a focus to plastic sector. So, I want to sincerely thank all our esteemed panelists, Additional Director Sir, Joint Director Sir from the Industries Department, Government of Telangana, and also retired and current Assistant Directors from Minister of MSME and the federations and plastic association presidents, and also the MSMEs representing plastic clusters. Today we had an excellent panel discussion with a good start from the pioneers in the plastic sector. So I'll try to reflect some of the high-level key points we have discussed. So the easily deployable solution everyone agreed upon is in terms of renewable energy deployment, because it has a huge potential of 40% reduction in the cost, and deploying common facilities for the clusters and using digital solutions in terms of better decision making and towards achieving better efficiency of the company management. And in terms of circular economy also, we have seen like with the help of regulations in place. We have used, the companies have told like with the usage of various imported equipment for the energy efficient and also the reduction in the electricity consumption costs has increased the production facility. And in terms of need of water and energy intensity reductions, there were a couple of innovation requirements were told in terms of preventive maintenance and also backward integration areas. There the startups requirement is needed. And also we had a lot of individual sessions in terms of resource reduction, process optimization and supply chain localization. Main points discussed and agreed upon were there was a need of uninterrupted power supply because in terms of production cost, the energy, particularly the electricity is the major contributor. And also industries have asked for land availability for solar installations. And there was a requirement of relying on grid power even though the renewable energy is there for certain companies. And finally, even though industries are deploying a lot of energy efficient technologies, within the system there is a requirement still in terms of cluster approach and also common facilities, be it a effluent treatment plants or maybe separate parks for the recycling facilities. And the material side, there was a need for localization of the materials. And finally, we have discussed about the benefits of Udyam registration and also JET certifications. So I would like to inform whatever we have captured today, it will be circulated to everyone. So based on the problem statements arrived from here, we will be curating hackathons. We'll be calling startups and we'll find solutions, cost-effective solutions. And we will be connecting them to the MSMEs in the plastic industry. We have circulated some of expression of interest forms in a folder. Before closing, I would like to request all to kindly fill the forms and submit to our one of our colleague. We'll be getting back to you after we see the details. So finally, I would like to conclude by thanking my team at RICH for their support in arranging all the logistics and making this event a success. Thank you all. I request all of you, please come onto the stage to have a group photo. Thank you.
Yeah, are going to form, your problem statements. I think we need to reach out to a much wider audience and look at more number of such problem statements. Probably we can have these kind of couple of more such events where we either go to them or we have more number of people coming in to share their experience and then pose their problems. That could serve as your problem statements.
Okay, everyone look here. Wait. తీసుకున్న కట్ల పక్క జరగచ్చు.